Hello, my name is Draymore, and welcome back to the Wizards Arena, my fellow Planeswalkers. Today we will be doing part 5 of our Zendikar standard review. We will be covering green. First up is the Ancient Green Warden. He got older since we've been here last. He is 4 and 2 green for a 5/7 reach elemental. You may play lands from your graveyard. If a land entered the battlefield causing a triggered effect of a permanent you control, do it an additional time. Well, that's pretty sweet. So basically, this makes all your landfall stuff go double bonkers. Okay. So that ability sounds sweet. Playing lands from your graveyard sounds sweet. Sweet. Having reach, pretty good. Unfortunately, I know we got lots of ramp, but I feel like Landfall is going to be like a green or green-red super aggro deck where like 4 will be the highest thing you play, maybe 3. So I got a feeling that this is just simply not that good because it costs too much mana. I know we're playing high intensive mana right now, but I think it gets a 4. It's an interesting body, interesting effects, but it won't have a home in standard. Other formats, however, I think it's going to do better, but not in standard. Let's move on to our next victim. Asaya, the Soul of the Wild. 3 and 2 red. For an XX creature with power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. Non-token creatures you control are forests now in addition to their other types. So he gets huge. You got 5 dudes out plus him, 5 lands out. So he's on 11/11. Pretty sweet, pretty silly. It's a little better than the last guy. But he has no keywords, so he can't trample over, he can't do any crazy shenanigans like that. See him doing a little more in other Eternal formats. He's going to be kind of silly with Blood Moon. So he only gets a 5. He's slightly better than the last guy. Pretty underwhelming. So far, the Mythic Greens have not been doing their job here. Being mythical. Ragplate Baloth. 5 and 2 green for a 6/6. Can't be countered. Hexproof haste. Kicker of 2 and a green to put 4 counters on him. The big underwhelming thing with this thing is no trample. I'd rather have gotten like 1 counter on him and have him get trampled with a kicker or 2 counters, but I know you can't just say like, oh, kicker of 3 and have him get 4 counters and trample. That's not fair. This guy's whole purpose is every single standard new rotation we get one big green guy that just says, no blue, I'm resolving, handle me. Where with Carnage Tyrant, he had trample. So that was a lot better. This guy doesn't. And even if I thought blue-white would be good, which I don't think it will be, I don't think you'll see play. He's just here as a check just in case. But he's so worse than Carnage Tyrant because he doesn't have trample. No, though it's kind of funny you tapped out as blue-white for some godforsaken reason. I'll just spend 10 mana and smash into you for 10, and it's got hexproof and haste, and you can't counter it, so better a flashing dude or something. It's like, it's just in here as a check. It's a 3, where Carnage Tyrant was like an 8, because it had the trample, can't be countered, all that stuff. Swapping haste for trample is not a help. It's just it's a big downgrade. So let's move on to our next card. Let's look for a cool green card. Oh, found one. Ascription of Abundance. This is the best inscription we got. It's an instant. I feel like all the other ones should have been. It's colors in a green. Choose one. Put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature. Okay, that's fair. Target player gains X life, where X is the greatest power among creatures they control. For 2? Pretty reasonable amount of life gain. Okay. Not the greatest, but sure. Or target creature you control fights another target creature you don't control. Again, that's an instant fight for 2 is pretty, standard. So that's all fine. Like, all these are fine. And then for 2 and a green, for a total of 5, you get to do all these things, which I feel pretty much would have costed 2. But you get them at a discount, and you get to do them at instant speed. So, as a result, compared to the other inscriptions, which are all garbo, this one's a 7. This one is doing its job. It's not auto-included in every green deck. You gotta be doing what this green spell wants to do, which is buff creatures or fight with creatures. Amazing limited, won't see much eternal play. But that's what I think about this one. Pretty solid. Our next card is the Mammoth. It's on the backside of the valley. What's cool about this guy is, yes, he's only a landfall 3/3 creature for 3 mana. That you play a land and he gets +2/+2 only till end of turn. But the advantage is, I feel like this would be the high-end thing for landfall. You play it as a land, like counting as a land in your deck building, and then you just play this guy, and it's as good as it's going to get. Didn't get any keywords besides landfall because it's on the rare land. It's solid. Like it. Gets a 7. Feel like it's going to be near the high end of what green's going to be doing in landfall. So, and also, if you draw it early on and you don't want to play it as the creature, you got the land. That's really good. Okay, what's next? Lotus Cobra. Sold. Book it, ship it. I love Lotus Cobra. Love it, love it, love it. Love it in Vintage Cube. Love it in Commander. Happy to see it reprinted. Doesn't see much eternal play, but that just might simply be the fact that he was hard to find. But at any rate, this is the best green card we've seen so far. He gets an 8. Happy to see him back. And we have Cultivate, so you could just play him turn 2, turn 3 Cultivate in mono green. Land. That's 2 mana. Tap a land that you just played this turn. That's 3 mana. Play another Cultivate. You're doing the thing with the stuff. Love him. Didn't read his stat line. Colors in green for 2/1. Landfall. Play a land. Get a color of your choice when the land comes in play. Great. Love it. Or Reef Ooze. 2 in the green. When he comes into play, put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. And then whenever he attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on every creature attacking that has a +1/+1 counter. In standard, a little weaker. than than commander usage. But the cool thing is if you have no board state, he can put the counter on himself, which is vastly different because usually you can only put them on other creatures. He's going to get a 5. It's pretty cool. Better than some of the other oozes we've seen in the past. Seems like we're now starting to get to the point where we have to have an ooze in a set. You know, I'm not sure why, but, you know. He's okay. You know, he's got a moderate grade. Our next card. The Scooter Swarm. The original Scooter was 1 green for a 1/1 that if we had 6 or more lands, we'd put like 5 counters on him or something like that. This one's slightly different. 2 and a green for 1/1. Whenever a land comes into play, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, that token is instead a copy of Scooter Swarm. So then you just start making swarms and swarms of dudes, which is kind of funny. You know, I feel like he's okay. He's not game breaking. So, as a result, he's a little weaker than our last card. He's getting a 4. He's cool. He's funny. But nothing game breaking here. Very good flavor win. Swarm Shambler, a green for 0/0. When he comes into play, put a +1/+1 counter on him. Whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes the target, make a 1/1 insect, spend a colorless, tap, put a counter on him. Okay, more +1/+1 shenanigans. Not really thrilled with him. He's okay, but I feel like he's falls in the same category as before. You know, cool, flavor win, nothing to write home about. Just okay. You made a card. Good job, Wizards. This is the first card in green to talk about Party. It's colorless and a green for a 3/2 elf. Comes into play. If you kick him for 3 colors more, you look at the top 6 of your library and you choose a creature that shares a type with him and put the rest of the bottom on random order. So he counts as a cleric, rogue, a warrior, or wizard. Now the big thing is he doesn't make Party happen by himself. You choose one. You know, one at any one time. So if you cast him and you look at the top with kicker and you look at the top 6 and you see a whole bunch of rogues and warriors and that's it, you can say, well, okay, he's a warrior, I'll get this warrior, and you play the warrior the next turn, then you have warrior and, you know, rogue, because you'll say he's a rogue, and you got 2 things. If Party's going to do a thing, he's going to be the one that does the thing. I'm not seeing him doing too much, though, for now. Later on, when there's more Party stuff in Standard, I can see him doing things. So he is only getting to get a 4. If Party gets better, he'll be up a little higher, and that's questionable. So I'll just have to give him a 4 for now. He's the beginning of a Party linchpin thing, and that's about it. Like, okay. This guy is the Mythic Land. Unlike previous Mythic Lands, the spell portion is about as good as it can get. It is the best. Better than all the rest. You look at the top 7, put a creature card from among them on the battlefield. If that card has CMC 3 or less, put 3 extra +1/+1 counters on it. Put the rest in the bottom in the random order. Hopefully it's random order for always. At least it didn't say 4 or less, because I would have been really scared to see a 7/7 Questing Beast. That would have been terrifying. So, the spell is 7 mana. Green's got lots of ramp, so you might see like 2 of these in a deck. Probably not. But, the simple fact that you can run 2 of these, think of them in mono green as just lands, is what really helps it out. Like, really helps it out. Because normally I'd say the spell's like a 4. Like, okay, yeah, it's a pretty goofy spell that you might see play in standard because of all the ramp. But because it's got land on it, it helps it a lot. This is the best. It's a 7. These lands have been criminally undervalued all over the place. You know, you can have a regular, basically a forest. It just comes into play. You lose a little life. You know, the shocklands are gone now. You know, you usually play shocklands in green. Like, that's fine. Like, this card's nice. Play it as the land. You know, early on if I get it. Pay the 3 life for it to be untapped. If I don't need it, leave it tapped. And if I get it late game, I just cast the thing to do the thing. Because, like, you can freaking even go and get the Green Adventure guy that's 2 in a green. You make a 1/1 white warrior. Well, I got a big blocker now. He's an 8/8. You know, that's pretty good. Pretty big, dumb good. At any rate. Moving on to our next card. We're getting near the end of green. We got the Skycleave Pickaxe. This is the only uncommon worth mentioning. This has the new artifact equipment text of auto equip. Like that ability a lot. And he gives your creature the ability of whenever a land enters battlefield, equipped creature gets +2/+2 to the end of turn. What makes it so good is it costs 1 green for this equipment. So it's like I don't play my land. I wait a second. Spend a green. Put this on a dude. Play the land. And if it's Fabled Passage, for example, sack Fabled Passage. Go get something. Swing at you with one of my creatures that got +4/+4. Like, okay. You know, like, that just strikes me as really good. And the equip cost is a little on the high side. But, you know, I understand they seem to be on the high side for most of these auto equips. But that is all for green. We have, next up is gold. Gold is going to be really large, folks, because I am going to also review all 10 gold uncommons, because Wizards tries to do a good job on making those uncommons playable. But at any rate, my name's been Dramo with the Wizards Arena. Please like, share, or subscribe, and comment below. This has been Green Review of Standard, and I'll see you in our next video reviewing the multicolors. You have yourselves a great day.